Hey there, it's Paul in the fields, as usual. I'm here today to talk about somebody fairly famous in the cigar industry. You might know of him. His name is Nestor Miranda. Back in the late 80s, actually 1989, after coming out from Cuba, he's Cuban born, he started the Miami Cigar Company. And you may know Miami Cigars. You may know the name Nestor Miranda. Miami is best known for the La Aurora brand, which is a major brand, the Leon Jimenez brand, which is also a major brand. Then there are some special Nestor Miranda particular cigars like the Art Deco and a few others. But today I'm going to talk to you about a particular Nestor Miranda series. It's called the Nestor Miranda Special Selection. Nice. Now, a few things that are very different about the Nestor Miranda Special Selection. First of all, this is a cigar that's not made in the Dominican Republic like most of the other brands from Miami Cigar are. This cigar is actually made in Nicaragua. Wow, lost my place. It's made in Nicaragua, and it's made by the Pepin Garcia, my father's cigar company. And that's the same people that make great things like the Tatuaje line and the Flor de Antilles line and the La Antigüedad line, and they make the they make the My Father line. There's a shock. The Jaime Garcia line. They make San Cristobal, all the different San Cristobals for Ashton, and they make the La Aroma de Cuba for Ashton. So they are out there with some of the most highly acclaimed cigars in the business. And this is a line of cigars that they make for Nestor Miranda. The Nestor Miranda Special Selection. Now, a few things of note. This particular wrapper is a Nicaraguan Oscuro, but here's something interesting. This cigar actually comes in a choice of 3 different wrappers. So you can get it in the Nicaraguan Oscuro, you can get it in a Nicaraguan Rosado, or you can get it in an Ecuadorian Connecticut. And the filler and binder blend are the same, it's just the wrapper that varies. And the filler and binder, just so we're clear, the filler is a great combination of, of course, Nicaraguan, some Honduran, and some Dominican tobaccos, so you might expect a good amount of complexity out of it. The binder is Nicaraguan as well. And then there's that choice of 3 different wrappers. Let's see what we have here, because it ought to be good. The breed of the Nicaraguan Oscuro wrapper on this one, this oily, delicious looking thing, is a Habano seed. So that's the breed. It's Habano, Nicaraguan Habano in an Oscuro color, which means it's very dark. It's not a Maduro per se. It hasn't been processed as a Maduro. Oscuro just means that it's a very dark leaf. Having said that, we ought to smoke it and see what the story is. Well, right off the bat, story is a lot of smoke, and right away a lot of flavor. There's a great earthiness to the flavor that hits right off the bat on this cigar. There's a little bit of spice behind it and some creaminess too. The cigar comes in a variety of sizes, all the way from this little guy, which is called a coffee break, up to a 6x60, and most of everything in between. Now, here's a good piece of news. As you know, I mostly talk about cigars that you either can find or will be able to find at the 9 Cigars locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and this is no exception. But special news about this cigar, aside from it being extremely tasty and well constructed and pretty to look at and all that other good stuff, it's also Cigars, specifically Art and Rob, made or are making a very special deal with Miami Cigars to buy pretty much all of this cigar that's left. And that's a whole lot of cigars. What that means is you need to be on the lookout sometime in the very near future to find this cigar at Cigars at phenomenal, almost ludicrous pricing. I'll point out that typically the special selections have been running in most stores in the $8-9 range, mostly, depending on the size, of course. Forget about that kind of price. Forget about a discounted price. Forget about any kind of price you might think of. When you find these in the next few weeks at Cigars, the price is going to make your hair fall out. I can say that because I'm wearing a hat, so you don't know if my hair fell out or not. The cigar starts out creamy and medium bodied. My expectation is it won't stay there, and I say that primarily for 2 reasons. One, the blend would suggest that it's going to be more full bodied than that, and second, it is a Pepin Garcia cigar, which bodes well in the depth and complexity and full flavor area. And this is very interesting. Most of the flavor right now is at the front of my palate, right, almost at the tip of my tongue, so to speak. And it's very good flavor. It's, like I said, a little earthy, a little spicy, and definitely creamy. But it's building up. It's building up with each puff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune out. I'm going to smoke, and I'll rejoin you shortly with a progress report. Well, here we are back at the ranch, or out in the field, or wherever you want to be. I'm a little ways farther into this cigar, and it has not let me down. There is still a dominant earthy creaminess, but along with it has developed some flavors that are very decidedly coffee-ish and spicy. Spicy and coffee are not a combination you encounter very often, or at least I don't encounter it very often. Again, this is the Habano Oscuro version. At some future date, I might take a poke at the Rosado version and even the Ecuador Connecticut version. But I can tell you right now, this is a fine cigar. I'm enjoying this a lot. And it's a cigar that, as I mentioned, you should be on the lookout at a ridiculous price at all 9 locations of Cigars. And when that happens, you're going to have a hard time finding it anywhere else. As I mentioned, Art and Rob and the gang have made a special deal to pick up a huge number of these and pretty much corner the market, which is what they like to do, and then pass the savings on to you. That's a good thing. a last look before I hit the road. The Nestor Miranda Special Selection, boxes of 20. Primarily, it's, I believe, going to be Bellicosos. All 3 wrappers. Good stuff. I'll see you next time I come in from the fields. Meanwhile, smoke often and smoke happy.